Welcome folks, this is Wayne here, yet another YouTube outdoor and gear review channel. Today I want to review the Kubey KU234. It's a nice and beefy folder. It is a flipper design, it runs ball bearings, it features D2 steel, a very long, very interesting blade shape, a very massive handle, so steel liners, mildly skeletonized, and massive slabs of G10 on top of those liners. So it feels good in hand, except of the clip. The clip is a little bit in the way, but we'll see when we put it through some hard use if that bothers me or not. I mean, I have pretty rugged hands, so things typically don't quite easily bother me, but we'll see. The overall ergonomic feel is good, is interesting. Now, why will I put a folder through hard use? Well, hard use is like a time machine, right? It just shows the flaws of a design much faster. My personal opinion is that ball bearings are not a good choice. Now, they make a knife flip very well, but for hard use scenarios you get a little bit of dirt inside and it doesn't flip so nice anymore, if it flips at all. So I want to know whether my theory is right, so I'll put this through some use, put it in some dirt, and I'll see whether we can somehow damage the knife. Right now it's in a very good condition. It has excellent fit and finish, amazing fit and finish, like all Kubey knives that I have seen so far. But how will it turn out as a hard use folder? Will we see any weaknesses? How will it do? Because it could be, you know, you're stranded somewhere and the only knife that you have is a Kubey flipper. Will it serve the purpose? Could you prepare a campfire, split some wood, or are you in for a nasty surprise? I have no clue. Let's test it out. It is very sharp out of the box. No doubt I get some stuff done here. A lot of force in the tip of the blade. This is pretty hard wood and it takes out good chunks. Does not do bad at all. So far the only little hot spot I have is on the thumb, but that's to be expected. So just a little tent peg. Yeah, very good cut. Hardwood, rather dry or very dry. The knife did well so far. Good idea to wear gloves. Those are my trusty old mechanics gloves. They're not very thick, but they provide a little bit of protection. Now let's try to well, prepare a little bit of shavings, of, you know, smaller wood particles to get a fire started. Let's see how we do here. The same tip area, get nice shavings. The wood is a little bit moister than I expected on this side. I'm using the very tip now, so feathered it up. It does reasonably well. I would say it has very good cutting performance. Process this piece of wood. That is an extremely hard task for a folder, okay? You might think it's a little bit over the top, but I want to get to the weaknesses of my tools fast. Now there is no need to do very hard hits. That would not be appropriate. And I have time. I just need to get it done. There you go. Split that in half. That already looks promising for starting a campfire, but I need some more material. Again, this is not what you would normally do with a flipper like this. Okay, lock fail. There we go. This is a lock fail. Again, this is a liner lock. And the liner lock is not the most robust type of lock. Yeah, lock fail. This is also the observation that I had during the batoning. Let's look at the tip strength. Yeah, you can see me prying. It's not what you should do with a knife, especially not with a folder. See, it's a mine for dry wood. So, let's look at the knife after putting it through some abuse. Does it still flip? Yep. It still flips just like before. Almost like before. Does anything wiggle? Not that I could detect. So there seems to be no damage in the ball bearings, no significant amount of dirt in the ball bearings. The lock still works. It locks up just like it locked up when it was brand new. A good lockup, I must say, but not sufficient for hard to use tasks. As you can see, as you saw, you can make this lock disengage quite easily. This is a Hefty and Beefy knife. The ergonomics are very good, especially with gloves. And you can exert very good force. Look at the tip. The tip is just pristine, despite the abuse that I did, you know, hitting on it and now prying. So the blade is super sharp. There are no damages. This is definitely a higher grade steel with a good heat treatment. So as Kubey says, it's D2 steel. This is definitely not a cheap 420 steel or some scrap steel like you get it on cheap knives. This is good steel. This is a good blade. It is very potent. You saw it how it ate that wood. So you can definitely use this knife to prepare a campfire and to do tasks in the outdoors as a camp knife. However, with the weak lock, it doesn't lend itself to be a hard use knife. Just go with a cold steel or something like that, or better yet, go with a fixed blade. However, if you were stranded outdoors and this is the only knife you have, you can be happy, because it is a beefy knife that can definitely do some serious tasks. As with the lock, I have had locks fail on me before, but this was because the lock was somehow, you know, falsely executed, too high tolerances, or just like faulty. It was made in a faulty way. This is not a faulty lock, this is just a weak lock. And I've had liner locks that are more robust, but those were liner locks like the CRKT M16, where you have a secondary lock supporting the liner so that the liner can't get out of the way. And in this case, there is nothing, no secondary lock. So the liner is just, when you exert a lot of force on the blade, like this, spine whack, then the liner is just pushed out of the way. In fact, this is totally inherent in this design. You see how it locks up. It has to go that way. On the one hand, it's good because there's no lasting damage. On the other hand, of course, if you're not aware of that, your fingers could be in for a nasty surprise. Other than that, for the price, the asking price, this is definitely a good knife, a good city knife for moderate tasks. And also you can work with it for quite a while because it has a very comfortable handle. But for the outdoors, I would look for something different. So the Kubey KU234. It's a good knife. I got it for 15 euros, like $16, and it's definitely worth much more than that. And I would say it's definitely a 20 or 30 euro or dollar knife. It is beautifully executed. It's like flawless. I like the attention to details that they give, the cheat-hand and everything. Now, if you can overlook the lock problem, which should not be a problem for most of us, the truth being told, unless you do what I did right now, the lock will never be a limiting factor when you use that knife. I would be more concerned of dirt getting into the ball bearings, but not even that was the case right now. Still flips great. I really like how it flips. I like that you have to push down and not pull back. It's one of the best flippers that I have at home. So I hope you liked the review. If you stay on, I'll have some drone shots of Austria, some footage. Now this is Wear and Tear, over and out.